year. And friends, we are on the 24th of Elul, Chaf Daled Elul, which marks the Hilula of a really great Tiberias-based rabbi. His name was Rabbi Chaim Yissachar Abulafia, Zecher Tzadik Libracha. He was born actually in the English year 1884 and passed away, to be precise, on the 25th of September in the year 1970. We're talking about 54 years ago. He passed away, and naturally that was on Chaf Daled Elul. He became a great judge, a Dayan, in Israel. He'll become a great man of the congregation of itself and a chief rabbi of Tiberias, a very prominent position, which he kept, I believe, for a 7-8 year tenure between the years 1911 to 1918. So let's explore some of the highlights of the great rabbi's life. He was actually born in Tiberias, Tiberias being one of the 4 holy cities of Israel, along with Tzfat, Hebron, and Yerushalayim. He actually came from great rabbinic heritage. In fact, the Abulafia dynasty family were great rabbanim for many generations. His father's name was Rabbi Yosef David Abulafia Hasheni. That was his father's name. And he was also himself the rabbi of Tiberias, and I think he was a descendant of various different other rabbis, including Rabbi Chaim Abulafia Hasheni, was one of the forefathers also, and the chain goes on with regards to Abulafia dynasty of yesteryear. They were really great family, which were dwelling especially in the Galilee in Israel, very great. While he was young, he learned in yeshiva inside Tiberias, respectively, and he would get married, I believe, to the daughter of Rabbi Avram Azriel. Her name was Rabbanit Mazal, naturally, and Rabbi Avram Azriel, we've spoken about on various different occasions also. He was also a rabbinic congregational rabbi also, and was part of the Sephardic Bet Din and Bet Din Im of himself, so really married into great heritage. And I believe in the year 1909, it was after, I think, the chief rabbi of Tiberias at that stage in time had passed away. That was his name was Rabbi Aaron Bachor Al Khadif, respectively. The position, I think, became available at that stage in time, and I think he was shortly afterwards he was appointed to the position as a Chambashi of Tiberias, a very prominent position at that point in time. It had very connection with in regards to the Ottoman ruling at that stage in time, and I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, Rabbi Chaim Nachum Effendi actually appointed him into his position. Now, we've spoken about Chacham Nachum in various different videos also about what a great rabbi he was. He himself was a great pasek. He was a grammarian also, and one of the great historians also. And I think at that point in time he took the helm. He was at the pinnacle of the position for various different period of time, and I believe he would take a short time period during the year 1913. He would vacate that position, but shortly afterwards, in the year 1913, he would actually return towards the end of that year. I think in the interim at that point in time, for a chunk of 1913, Rabbi Chaim Al Khadif was appointed the chief rabbi in his stead of Tiberias at that stage in time. He himself was also a great Shluchei Rabbanan, and was a man that was really a man of the congregation in Tiberias in of itself, and did a lot himself. Okay, so let's continue. He was very well connected with many of the great rabbis, especially, I think, had connection with especially Rabbi Yitzchak Shaki at that stage in time. He was other great rabbis of the greatest caliber at that stage in time. So in 1913, towards the end of it, he would return to his position, and he was also part of the Chavrei Beit Din, the part of the Jewish court over there, with other great rabbis, including Rabbi Yaakov HaKohen Skali, also, who I believe was another great rabbi of Moroccan descent, if I'm not mistaken, and also a head of the Jewish court over there. Rabbi Yaakov Chai, another great rabbi who we've spoken about before. I think his family had links to Gibraltar. If I'm not mistaken, he was also an Ab Bet Din of Tiberias and a great rabbi in Tiberias. Also, I believe his brother-in-law's name was Rabbi Shmuel ben Kiki. Also, he happened to be also a great payetan, a great poet, and also an Abdin in Tiberias. So there were a cluster of the great rabbanim at that stage in time, were among the best rabbanim, arguably, in the whole of Israel in Tiberias at that stage in time. Being the Chacham Bashi, the chief rabbi of Tiberias, brought about a lot of various different responsibilities, a lot of different great works within regards to it. I think a lot of the lands, if I'm not mistaken, over there, a lot of karkas we call in Hebrew, we call the word land, he actually owned. A lot of it was put into his name at that stage in time. And I think even next, he owned plots of land very close to proximity of the burial plot of the Rambam also. And I think in the year 1914, a lot of different dunems, as they say in Tiberias, was, I think, put into his name in of itself. So he had a lot of responsibility and a lot of a lot of different activities was going on also at that point in time, because many people were actually moving to the land of Israel. There was waves of aliyah from all over the North African countries. There was aliyah coming from Europe, especially many people coming in. And I think especially he actually had a connection with the Kiryat neighborhood, which was built in, I think, the Shmuel area in of itself. Now, I think at one stage in time, I'm not too sure if while he was actually the chief rabbi, and I was probably around that time period, there was a lot of anti-Semitism going on also within regards to the Ottoman government, and they found Zionistic stamps in the great rabbi's home, Rabbi Abulafia's home, and there was, unfortunately, I think there was whistleblowers, and they put him on trumped up charges. Let's just say they framed him. They put him, I think, in solitude, if I'm not mistaken, in Jerusalem, on charges on treason, let's just say. And I think many of the rabbis got involved to take him out at that stage in time, including Rabbi Chaim Panizel and Rabbi Moshe Yehuda Franco. These were great rabbis, I think, Rishon LeZion, respectively, at different stages in Israel in of itself. And I think they were able to release him after all these terrible false charges were put against him from the various different administrations, and I think they returned him shortly after to Tiberias. And I think in the year 1918, the British there was a time period when there was a British occupation at the time, and I think they actually cancelled the various different positions of Chacham Bashi at that same time, various different cities. I think in the year 1918, his position as a Chacham Bashi over there actually terminated because of the British government at that stage in time. And but at that point in time, he was still a public figure and head figure, let's just say, in Tiberias. Within regards to the various different happenings in religious life over there, he was overseeing the Torah learning taking place at that point in time, with the kashrut and all the various different religious activities that had to be taking place, especially within regards to the Sephardic community in Tiberias, which was a very turbulent time period of uncertainty because of these changes the British government had made at that stage in time. I think he, if I'm not mistaken, also he had a connection also with the Irgun, the Haganah. Also, I think he was communicating with them, and so on and so forth. He would pass away in the year 1970. So at that stage in time, he was about 86 years of age. He was, to be precise, on the 25th of September. He was buried in the burial plot in, I think, the old city part of Tiberias, if I'm not mistaken. And actually written on his tomb, I'll say the words in the phrase in Hebrew over here, Kan Noach Adam She'eved et Tzibur B'munah Bo'ono Shelo Al Manat Lekabel Pras. He is a man of the congregation that worked for the needs of the people, especially of Tiberias and all the people of Israel, not in order to receive something in exchange, because he generally loved the people over there, and the emunah he had in Hashem, the faith he had in Hashem, and the ahavat Yisrael he had was basically second to none. So he passed away at the age of 86 years old, and one of the great rabbis of the Tiberias dynasty, the Abulafia family in of itself. We remember we've actually related over, I believe, already, a good maybe 4 or 5 different videos on the great Abulafia family. There were many, many great rabbis at that stage in time, and we're going to hopefully explore some of the other rabbis, maybe dedicate a shir to, within regards to the family tree, possibly, of Abulafia in of itself. So please don't forget to light candles in his memory, 24th of Elul. Friends, we've already covered more than 400 great Sephardi rabbis of yesteryear. We're a community over here. We're learning about the great Oriental Sephardi Spanish rabbanim over here. Please don't forget to share and like the videos. Drop me a comment. I'm wishing you all a great day. I'm Yisrael, everyone, and take care.